Hello, everyone, and welcome to learning how to help LGBT clients get online with LGBT tech. My name is Christopher Wood, and I'm the Executive Director of LGBT Tech, and I'm joined by...
I'm Ellie Bessette. I am the Director of Programs for the Power On program and LGBT Tech.
And we are so honored to also have with us Acting Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel of the FCC.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, Commissioner, and thank you so much for all of your hard work on this program. It's so important to so many communities, but especially the LGBTQ community. So I'll turn the floor over to you to give us a brief explanation about the emergency broadband benefit and what it means to communities like the LGBTQ community.
All right. Well, let's just start that during this pandemic, it's been clearer than ever before that broadband's not just nice to have, it's need to have for everyone, everywhere. It doesn't matter who you are, where you live. We've got to figure out in the United States how we get you connected to high-speed internet service and keep you connected. Because as we've masked up and hunkered down, life as we know it has moved online. It's where so many of us now go for work, for education, for healthcare, for community, and more. And we want to make sure everyone can get there. But the thing about the digital divide is this pandemic has made clear it's not just a question of physical access to infrastructure. It's a question of how do we afford it? How do we make sure every household can afford getting online? And so the emergency broadband benefit is designed to speak to that affordability question because it's our nation's largest ever broadband affordability program. And here's how it works. If you're in a household where you are on Medicaid, SNAP, get a Pell Grant, or have the Lifeline service, or have a child on free and reduced school lunches, the odds are you're eligible. And if you lost a job during the last year or have had a substantial loss of income, you could be eligible too. And what that means is that you will get up to $50 a month off your broadband bill. And that number goes up to $75 a month on tribal lands. And there's also the possibility of getting $100 discount off a laptop or tablet computer. And so the bottom line is this is a big program that's going to help households that have been struggling during this pandemic. And we know that a lot of them involve LGBTQ individuals. We also know from our experience with the Lifeline program that we've had a really substantial population with LGBT youth use that program. So this program too is available to them. And I want to make sure that we can get the word out, because if we get the word out, we'll get more people connected and they'll be able to, again, work, go to school, find community, safely seek out healthcare online. And you know, that's extremely important.
Commissioner, thank you so very much. I know all of your work has been really focused on ensuring that everybody could get online, and taking a few minutes out of your day to be here with us. We really, really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts, and for all the Power On centers across the country. Thank you so much.
Well, I so appreciate what you do to speak up about a community that we need online. We need organized online. We need capable of getting telehealth online and education online. So I really want to make sure that this program is one that reaches them wherever they are, wherever they're living.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here today and making the time. And we really look forward to getting this out to as many people as possible, and hopefully continuing a benefit eventually, so that Americans, especially LGBTQ individuals, can continue to get online when they need to.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you all so much for joining today. And thank you so much for being a part of the how to get LGBTQ individuals online, and how they can go ahead and get an additional $50 or up to $75 on tribal lands to that monthly internet bill that they're getting. First, I quickly wanted to touch on a little bit of what LGBT Tech has been doing over the last year in response to COVID and making sure that we're serving our communities. So first, I'm going to turn it over to Ellie to chat just a little bit about the Power On program.
Sure. So welcome, everyone. I know we have a lot of folks joining us. So for those who aren't familiar, I'll give you just a quick rundown of the Power On program. It started in 2015 as a program of LGBT Tech to work to get technology into the hands of those who need it most. It really focused beginning on LGBTQ youth, and over the past few years has expanded to serve all LGBTQ communities really across the country. We actually just announced the addition of 9 new grantee partner centers for 2021, bringing our total to 54 centers or LGBTQ serving organizations in 31 states and territories across the US. To those centers, we have to date distributed well over $110,000 worth of technology, everything from USB drives to cell phones to laptops, desktops, printers, portable power banks, really a lot of different devices to meet the varying needs of those communities in the different areas that they serve. This year, we're expecting to distribute about $80,000 worth of technology. So a lot is going to be going out into these communities this year, and a lot of devices that are going to need service and access to the internet to really do what they're intended to do. We've had individuals use Power On technology for a number of different tasks, different things to get their life back on track, to pursue their goals, to really anything you can think of, from finding a job to finding housing, getting health insurance, learning how to code or do digital designs programs or art. So really it runs the gamut of what our Power On centers and tech users are doing. And so we're really excited to speak with you today about the emergency broadband benefit and how that fits into the goals of our program to help get the LGBTQ community online.
In addition to that, we've also worked to ensure that LGBT organizations had access to HIPAA-compliant Zoom. We provided additional grant opportunities and provided additional technology to centers to ensure that their staff, as well as their clients, could get online and get the services that they need while they were locked in their homes or sheltering in place, and ensuring that they kept themselves and their families or chosen families safe. And we really worked to listen to the community to ensure we understood how technology was being used and how it was different. I think really it highlighted a major factor for what a lot of us know is that LGBTQ individuals really rely on technology, and it's extremely important for LGBTQ individuals to be able to get online and be able to find community, find resources, find healthcare. As you heard the commissioner say, LGBTQ communities and all minority communities really need access to the internet to make sure that they can find the resources that they need. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into a little bit more about the emergency broadband benefit and how you all can go ahead and provide it to your clients. So first, I really wanted to start with what EBB was, or the emergency broadband benefit. It is a congressionally authorized program. That means that Congress has authorized a certain amount or an allocated piece of money that is going to pay for struggling households to afford internet services during the pandemic. As I just mentioned, Congress and state leaders and businesses and really everyone across the world finally realized how crucial the internet was as they were all working from home. And trying to figure out what a new daily life structure looked like. And that was no different for LGBTQ individuals. LGBTQ individuals were trying to figure out how to create community, how to go to their local centers, get on their peer-to-peer support networks, how to get the services that they rely on each and every day. And so this emergency broadband benefit is a temporary fund. I want to underscore that. This is an opportunity to get individuals who may have lost their jobs, who may have be really low on income, may really need still access to internet to be able to go to school, find a job, have their kids go to school, so on and so forth. So just making sure that individuals are connected is really the idea behind this. As you heard Commissioner Rosenworcel said, or Chairwoman Rosenworcel said, The benefit is up to $50 per month for broadband service. If you're on tribal lands, it's $75 per month. And for qualifying participants, for those companies that are offering it, you can get a one-time discount on a laptop computer or a desktop computer, as long as it's purchased through the provider that you're getting it from. So that's really EBB in a nutshell.
So why is it important? I think a lot of that, probably just hearing the overview, is kind of clear to you at this point. I mean, it really comes down to the people who are struggling to get online, which is a lot of LGBTQ individuals. As we know, that's what Power On is working to address. And when financial barriers are in place, which is very common, especially in the LGBTQ community, having a device or getting online is really, it can be a luxury when it shouldn't be, and it can't be at this point. So the LGBTQ community relies on the internet for so many things, especially after and during the pandemic. And as that continues, as our way of life has changed to be so primarily online, I mean, even as far as applying for the emergency broadband benefit, it's going to be easiest for you if you have a computer with access to the internet. There is a paper mail-in version, but of course that's going to take more time. So it's really important to the community to be able to have these funds provided to make the cost of internet access affordable. People were using the internet. I'm sure a lot of you are center leaders or center staff. You know that connecting to support groups during the pandemic has been life-saving. It's really been a way for people to be in touch with those support systems and support networks and their peers in a time when they were disconnected from being in their physical groups or physical spaces with their peers. So it's, we've learned a lot over the past year talking with our centers about how the needs of their clients and their communities have changed to become increasingly more reliant on technology and the internet. And when cost is a barrier, that just makes it that much harder for people to get online. So being able to put that $50 a month towards an internet subscription, or what do you call it, is towards broadband is just extremely crucial. And the more people we can get online by taking advantage of this program, the better.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that we did is, as I mentioned earlier, we provided an extra grant for centers to be able to connect with individuals, and it was our mini COVID grant. If you go to poweron.org/the-research,
poweronprogram.org,
poweronprogram.org, or poweronlgbt.org/the-research, it'll take you to and show you over the past 4 months, we've actually been collecting research from our centers that received that specific tech, and you can see how centers have been using it to connect with individuals. One of the top areas that centers were using it was actually for peer-to-peer support. When individuals couldn't get together and they couldn't really support each other in those in-person groups, which I know so many centers have, it was that ability to get online with the Zoom features and the HIPAA compliant Zoom, but also the ability to connect with individuals that were so important to them in their daily lives and get that support that they really, really need. So can't underscore that enough. So who is eligible? And a lot of this can seem really overwhelming and a little bit like Greek. So let me just underscore the top line there. A household with a member, that it means a single person. That means you can have 4 people in a household. And only one member in that household needs to meet one of these criteria, one of the following criteria. So you only need to meet one of them. So one is that you have an income at or below 135% of the federal poverty guidelines. I know that probably sounds a little bit like Greek. When you fill out the applications with your client, or you're working with a client to fill it out, with the links that we're going to provide in a little bit, it will walk you through what that is, and you'll be able to enter in the information very clearly, and it will tell you whether you qualify or not. So don't make that below 135% of the federal poverty guideline scare you. There's tools that are out there that can help you figure that out. It also programs that your client may be on. So SNAP, Medicaid, or the current Lifeline program are also ways that you can quickly identify that individual and that client is eligible to go ahead and apply for the emergency broadband benefit. Also meets the eligibility and criteria for participating provider existing low income, meaning that if your client is already on a service with any of the carriers that participate that is already a low income service, they automatically qualify for the emergency broadband benefit. It just means that they get more money rather than the $9.95 a month. They're going to get $50 a month at least. Approved under the free and reduced school lunch program. So again, if you qualify under that, this is a new one, which is experience a substantial loss of income due to a job loss or furlough since February 29th, 2020. And the household had an income in 2020 at or below $99,000 for a single filer, $198,000 for a joint filer. The interesting thing about this is it just means that if you, as a joint filer or a single filer, if you didn't make more than $99,000, and as a joint filer, if you didn't make more than $198,000 and you lost your job or you were furloughed because of the pandemic, you qualify, which is different because a lot of times individuals who are in those income brackets would not qualify for any type of benefit. So this is a really crucial point because actually a lot more individuals qualify for the emergency broadband benefit than some of the other requirements. And I think it's really important to underscore that a larger swath of the LGBTQ community who may be economically suffering right now have an opportunity to participate in this program, which is really, really important. And then finally received a federal Pell Grant during the current award year, which is pretty self-explanatory. So how to do it. That's what we really want to drive towards. In the upper right-hand corner, you've seen www.lgbttech.org/EBB. And we wanted to give you some very simple steps. One is you can visit this website on our website. You can follow the links to determine eligibility and find out your current and nearest provider, all right there on the website. You'll also be able to navigate to the FCC's website, as well as some of the major providers around the country that cover almost 90% of the country as far as service availability. And so we've really tried to create a very simple step. So one, visit lgbttech.org/EBB. Follow the links to determine the eligibility and find out your current or nearest provider. And then all you have to do is apply. It's really that simple. So the final thing is we wanted to just quickly take any questions. And I know we've had on the bottom submit questions to @LGBTTech on Twitter. I know that some people we're going to look at the comments and make sure. I think there was one question from Out Center. What documentation or IDs are required to apply for the emergency broadband benefits? So actually on the page at lgbttech.org/EBB, if you navigate to the apply section, it will give you an entire list. The reason we didn't put it on our website is because it is quite lengthy, but it really is only navigate to our website, go to the required documents and click on that, and it will drop down an entire drop-down list of all the required documents that you'll need, the different documents that you may use in order to do that. And that should be all the information you have that you need. But if you have questions, we are available to you. You can either tweet at us or you can submit something on our contact form, or I'm going to provide Ellie's email address at the end. And you'll be able to go ahead and follow up if you're still having trouble or need additional help.
I believe also, I was looking at some of the pages earlier, and I think that their online verification systems are such that there may not be a need to provide any actual documentation. They may be able to verify someone's information internally in their systems, whatever they're using. If that doesn't work, that's when they would come to you for actual documentation of certain things. So it may even be easier than one might think.
And also, Kristen from our team actually just sent a message just letting us know also, if you can't find it on our website and can't locate it, if you go to getemergencybroadband.org, that is getemergencybroadband.org, that is another place that you can find those requirements really listed out on the documents. Just looking to see if we have any other comments or any other questions. So one question that came from Facebook, we have heard that some providers are pushing individuals into new plans in order for the individual to use this program. Is this allowed? Whether it's allowed or not, I'm not entirely sure. I know a lot of providers have actually been trying to simplify the process. They may need to move them into a different type of plan in order to make sure, not necessarily a upgraded plan, but let's say that they were already on Lifeline. And they're getting on the emergency broadband benefit. They may need to change something in their systems. But most providers that we have been hearing from, most providers that I know the FCC has been talking to, they're not actually pushing them into new plans and new programs that are higher and more expensive, but more of just trying to make sure that there's a clear communication on the back end. For example, I know that some of the providers are actually making them sign up for a specific, say they're a new customer, making them sign up for a specific plan and then applying the benefit to that if they're a new customer. And the reason that they're doing that is so that they don't see sticker shock when and if the emergency broadband benefit expires. So let's say, for example, you had a $79 plan. Some of the providers are saying this plan is $79. That's what you're going to select. Here we're applying the $50 credit to your plan. So now your plan is only $29. And from there, then they will go ahead and notify you. It'll be on your bill or whatever statement you receive. And then 30 days before the emergency broadband benefit expires, they will notify you. And then they will actually allow you to cancel your plan if you want to. So that was Charter Communications. That's the example I was giving you. I want to make sure that it's very clear that that doesn't mean that's all providers. Charter Communications mentioned to us that if a customer, if their plan was expiring, they were allowed to go ahead and cancel their plan if they knew that the benefit was expiring. Again, this is a temporary benefit provided by Congress, and so it's not going to go on forever. But we have one more slide after this, so don't go anywhere. I just want to make sure we don't have any other questions. Does anyone have any other questions? I saw another one come in, I think, on YouTube. A client has a Lifeline phone, so they should not need to go through the national verifier process, but RCN has said that they do. Do you know how to get around this? Mm-hmm. The national verifier process should already be in place, and from what we said earlier, and based on the qualifications, I'm just going to back up this slide very quickly. So if meets the eligibility criteria for participating providers under low income, if they're already on Lifeline, then they should be able to not have to go through the national verifier process. But you know what I'm going to do, Allison, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that back. And I'm going to make sure that I'm just going to check in on that, and we'll try to respond in some way, either putting that out across through our social media. But if you'd also like to shoot Ellie an email, we can follow up on that. Her email is going to be on the last slide here. I'm going to push it just over here. So if you look on the right-hand side, you can email Ellie at ebessette@lgbttech.org, and we will most certainly follow up on that for you to make sure that we get you the appropriate answer. But
another question too.
All right, Allison, another question. Another client already has internet through Spectrum, but they are not on the provider list. Do you have advice for folks who might need to consider changing their provider to get this benefit? Spectrum should be on the provider list.
They may be listed under Charter instead of Spectrum is the only thing I can think of.
Yes. So I would definitely check to make sure that it's the right company in that area or specific area. But again, you can also shoot us an email, and we're happy to answer that or kind of dive into that with you and make sure that we can get that answer back to you.
What do you think as far as the second part of that question for people who that may apply to? If the provider that someone's currently with is not participating, what would you recommend?
I mean, I would recommend trying to find a provider that would participate. I understand that that may also mean that there may be cancellations fees with another provider, which unfortunately this program doesn't really work around. But the great thing is that there's quite a few providers all over every single state. And if you follow the links on our website at lgbttech.org/EBB, you can navigate to an entire list of providers that's broken down by state. But again, if you have trouble, please feel free to email us. We'll be happy to help. Anything we can do to ensure that our community can get online, we're here to help. I also want to underscore this last piece is that the emergency broadband benefit is temporary, but it doesn't mean that we're not working on our end to make it a permanent broadband benefit. We recognize that so many individuals in our community may be disconnected or underconnected. And so we want to make sure that if you are connecting people, if you are getting people online, we want to be able to tell that story. We want to be able to work with you and your organizations to be able to tell individuals' story, tell Congress, and tell the federal leaders of this country that we need a larger permanent broadband benefit that will provide the services that are truly necessary to be able to get online. So the only thing I'm asking you is that if you're doing this and you're working with clients, please email us. Please let us know how it's going. Let us know if you're having issues. We can immediately take that back to the FCC. I still sit on the diversity committee for the FCC, and I'm very proud to sit on that seat and represent the LGBTQ community. But I'm also more than happy and will use that seat to make sure that they know that either something is working or that something is working great. In addition, we'll also make sure that representatives and those in the Senate know that this is working for our community and that's an important and necessary need. The one thing I can't underscore enough is that so many leaders within the country, I don't think really realized how disconnected or how underserved some individuals, especially in minority communities like the LGBTQ community, really were. And I think the pandemic really shined a light on that. And so the only way we can continue to do our work and make sure that all LGBTQ individuals that want to be online are connected is through those stories. So please send them to us. Please reach out to us. Ellie's email is down there in the corner. You can also visit lgbttech.org and submit a contact form. We get those. And most importantly, thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you so much for all the work that you all are doing for your communities and our community across the country and around the world. I hope that you all are staying safe and healthy and beginning to get out when safe and acceptable. So from all of us here at LGBT Tech, I thank you so much for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
And please spread the word to
Yes.
other people that you're working with who weren't able to join us today. Share our lgbttech.org/EBB page. Direct them to us with questions. We want to make sure that the word gets out and that people see that it's hopefully not as difficult as they may think to take advantage of this program while it's still available.
Thank you, everyone.